Hello, Catskill High students. Mr. Irvis here, coming to you from Crickwater Studios. We are presenting today the YouTube version of Unit 2C, that's lessons 8 through 11. I just want to make sure that everybody's on track. You should have already submitted yesterday's work. You should have taken a pic and uploaded it to Google Classroom. Today, we are right here. We are Wednesday the 8th, Unit 2C. Looks like tomorrow you have a Castle Learning and it'll open at 4 p.m. and it will close at 11:59. So you got to make sure you're watching your time, get everything submitted. All right, so let's get that out of the way and let's get to work. All right, which of the following is a solution to this? This is just simple solving. There is a little bit of a twist, so I'm going to reverse things. I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides, and I'm going to end up with negative 3x less than negative 18. All right, here's the twist that we all warn you about. I'm dividing by a negative, and that means that the inequality symbol is going to switch its direction. So that less than symbol is going to turn around right here. And it's going to become a greater than symbol, okay? That happens if you divide by a negative or multiply by a negative, and that's it. Bring down your x, and negative divided by negative is a positive, so x is greater than 6. So here's the second twist of this question. A lot of people think this says x equals, and they think that this is the answer. This is the meanest trick ever could be. They're saying any value that's bigger than 6 is an answer, and none of these are bigger than 6 except this one right here. So please watch out for that. All right, move on to number 2. Here we go. And just a quick reminder, we're looking for a false value. Watch out for that. And remember, for the word and, everything has to be true, and that will give you a true. For the word or, if you have just one thing true, you'll get a true. Otherwise, false. So let's go through. This is true. 5 is less than 11. This is true on the account that it's equal to it. This one here is a true statement or another true statement. All right, so that means that this whole thing is true and this whole thing is true. Fine. Choice number 2. Negative 6 is less than 0. Yeah, that's true. 8 greater than 12. That's definitely false. Now, if you just remember, I just said if you have an and statement, everything has to be true to get a true. So I'm telling you right now that this entire statement is false. Okay? So, I mean, you can check this one, but I believe you're going to find that 8 less than 5 is a false statement. Negative 7 less than negative 2. That is true. And remember, for or, I only need one to be true, so this is true, this is true, this is true. That's the only false one. Choice 2. And we're moving on. All right, so this one here is a word problem. I suggest that you actually try to build it yourself as you read. They say after a number. Now, when they say a number, they're just talking about like n or x. I'm going to use n because these all have n in it. After a number is tripled, well, if you triple it, you're going to multiply it by 3. After it's tripled, the result is decreased by 5. Well, to decrease something by 5, you have to subtract 5 from it. All right. The final result will be at most 18. Now, if you're at most 18, excuse me for a minute here, I'll put this paper under here, it's easier to write. So if we're at most 18, that means we're not allowed to go over 18. So that means you can be less than 18 You can be equal to 18, just not any larger. So look through for your answers, and I believe we are matching choice number 1. And that's it. All right, let's go on to number 4. Very similar. It's a solving question. So like number 1, we're just going to start reversing things. We're going to move things around. So negative 4x is less than an 8. And here it is again. You divide by a negative. So hopefully you know what happens to your symbol. That less than sign flips to greater than negative 2. And so we're looking for something greater than negative 2. This question or answer, number 3 and number 4, are automatically out because they're filled in circles. All right, there is no equal sign here. So the only one that's greater, so open circle, and greater than numbers are always to the right. So choice number 1 again. All right, so multiple choice. I believe that's all there is. We're done with that. And they say, is x equal 4 part of the solution? Now you get a couple options. Option 1 is to straight up solve this. I prefer to actually plug it in to see if it's true. So I'm going to take that 4. I'm going to drop it right in there where that x is and see if this creates a true statement or a false statement. All right. 2 times 4, I'm going with 8. 8 take away 1. I'm thinking 7, and if I rewrite all this other stuff, yeah, 7 definitely is larger than 5 and definitely is smaller than or equal to 20. So is it a solution? Yes. X equals 4 is a part of the solution. That's all there is to it, boys and girls. Turn the page over. And we're looking here at number 6. And this is a solving question, which means you're going to do all your normal solving. Distributive property. Make sure that you actually multiply 8 times x and the 8 times the 2, so you've got minus 16. Most of the time, that's where the mistake is right there. Just going too fast. Make sure you actually do that multiplication. So 3x plus 5 over here. And simplify. Same side like terms. These 8x. Now that's minus 15. Don't forget your x, Irvis. There we go. And then 3x plus 5. I'm running out of room quick. You probably are too. I'm going to take all my x's. I always like to get them on the one side first. I'm going to choose to move the smaller value of x's. So that leaves me, and I'm going to have to bring my inequality up here. I'm left with a 5 on the left. I still have a less than sign. And 8x subtract 3x is 5x. And we still have minus 15. Now if all my x's traveled over to here, I'm going to take this minus 15 and bring it the other way. I'm trying to isolate that x. And I'm starting to have success. So 20 less than 5x. And for your last move, you're going to want to divide by 5. And I'm looking at a 4 on the left. So if you read this from left to right, it says 4 less than x. I prefer students read it starting with the variable and say x is greater than 4. All right, and then if you really want to turn it around because it helps to graph, that's fine. So anything that's greater than 4. So I'll find where 4 is on this number line. Here's 4 right here. So open circle, and that has meaning because we're not actually allowed to be equal to 4. You don't have the equal line. And any number greater than 4 naturally is going to be 5, 6, 7, 8, anything that's bigger or to the right. And that's all there is to it. So it says, graph your solution on the number line below and also in interval notation. Okay, I didn't notice that. But just to quickly, if you want to put this into interval notation, anything that's greater than 4 means that we are beginning on 4. We use the round parenthesis. And the answers are continuing forever and ever heading towards positive infinity. Here's the sideways 8, boys and girls. And you can never include an infinity, so you have to use a round parenthesis. So that's another way of writing an answer. This right here and this right here are the exact same thing, just 2 different styles. All right. Last question. Number 7. Solve the compound inequality below. And we're going to graph again. All right, so they give us 2 different inequalities as a conjunction, and you're going to solve them. This one here, divide by -3. So you divide it by a negative, so same rule. We've been really practicing divide. Switch that sign, and you get x is greater than or equal to -2. And at the same time, solve this one. So, subtract the 3. So 2x is less than 14. Divide by 2. That's a positive, so don't worry about switching the sign there. So x has got to be less than 7. So these 2 things have to hold at the same time because of the word and. So my answer is greater than or equal to -2 and at the same time smaller than 7. So when you go to the number line over here, you're going to find -2, -1, -2. Here we go. And +7, 6, 7. All right, I noticed the -2's got the little equal to line, so that's a filled in dot. I noticed that the 7 doesn't, so that's an open dot. We're not allowed to be equal to it. And if my answers are bigger than -2, that's this way. And also less than 7, well, the numbers that are less than 7 are this way. So these inequalities have an overlap, and they have to stay in between these 2 values. Anything over here like 10, well, that's not going to work for this one. Anything like -5, well, that's not going to work for this one. So it has to stay in between. That's all there is. Now, when you guys do your homework or student work, you guys are going to be doing the worksheet that looks like this. Algebra 1, Unit 2. The easiest way that I'm finding students submitting these is to do your multiple choice and just write down 1, 2, 3, 4 and put the answers A, B, C, and D. And then for the student response, open response, just put 5, 6, 7, 8, and work them out. Okay, show the work. Take your picture, upload it to Google Classroom, and grades are going to start coming through, and that's all we have for today. All right, if you have questions, make sure you contact us through Google Classroom. All right, have a good day, everybody.